Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Back here, Raj. We're going to be going over the Irgon lithium mine project that Quantum has. Some highlights, some next steps as well. But first things first, Raj, how are you?
Good. It's not raining today.
Not raining, dealing with some, U.S. election craziness, of course,
Uh,
and
yeah, the internet craziness is occupying a lot of time.
Yeah, no, good. Well, here, look, I'm going to throw it to you as a little intro of the project. Do you want to give some very quick highlights of, the Irgon project?
Yeah, it's a project that we picked up in 2016. It's a hard rock lithium. It's an infrastructure, and it's got a processing plant 20 kilometers directly south of us. Work was done on it in 1950s. It's a mine that was going to go into production. It's got a historical resource of 1.2 million tons. 1.51% is the average grade. There was a high rate specifically commissioned for the project. There's a shaft that's been sunk. We picked it up, the intention of getting it to cash flow and production. Historically, when they were looking at it, the price of the 6% concentrate was $11 US per ton. So they did the economics at 500 ton per day, 6.5 year mine life for the 1.2 million tons is what they were going to do. And for us, it was great at the time. We picked it up. The plant was owned by Cabot, big New York listed US company. Since we picked it up, they sold it to the Chinese. We're in discussions with the Chinese in terms of them potentially processing the ore for us. We picked it up with a goal of trying to get this thing into production as soon as possible, and then over a period of time, increasing the resource as it was mined out. Obviously, from 2016 to 2018, the lithium market went slightly crazy. Prices went for the 6% concentrate were over $1,000 per ton, and they backed off, up and down, and then towards the end of last year and really part of this year, the market has come back. There's significant in terms of going forward. People are looking at it and saying, hey, there will be a supply crunch at some point in time over the next 10 years, depending on how fast the electric vehicles convert from gas. The gas vehicles convert to electric. Thought was to go ahead and get into production as soon as possible. And then we started looking at it, and the people started talking about increasing the amount of tonnage. We hired SGS to help do the sampling, and also in terms of working on a report with a new resource estimate, which I believe will be a new number. It'll be higher than the old number, and we initially had thought it'd be sometime beginning of the year, but it hasn't quite worked out that way. We're hoping it'll be maybe by the end of this year or maybe beginning of next year. They've got a draft out, and we're working on finalizing that.
Well, here, let me sum it up for give you a little break. So, you initially bought it in from not in 1950s, but a mine that was going to exist in the 1950s, 1960s. Initially they did a feasibility study with lithium was, you said $11, per ton, which is yeah, US. So pretty cheap, obviously, compared to today. And now, you said you've seen lithium as high as $1,000 per ton for what you guys have, which is obviously incredible. So the feasibility, big changes there. And just to go over some of the highlights, you guys have here, and we'll list them below. High grade lithium, of course. Low capex, near highways, processing plants, things like that. And the potential to increase the tonnage to 5 million plus. So about $2 billion worth of lithium, which is awesome.